Hi guys, so I want to thank you guys for coming out and inviting me to read today. I've got a minty fresh new story for you. It's called The North Claw. Alright, so if I could read it. Alright. C. Finepaw was quite the eccentric lady. An avid supporter of public transit, she could often be seen with one earbud blasting music into her right ear. This was her deaf ear, so I don't know if she ever got anything out of it, but the satisfaction that no one would ever sneak up on her. C used to leave the lights on in her bedroom when she went out, saying that the boogeyman was a legitimate concern. She would hear things in the middle of the night, like someone knocking on her third-story window. She saw shadow people out the corners of her eyes. I've seen them too. I wish I had more in common with the woman. I've never even met her. Well, I've technically met her, but it was at a time when I don't even remember. My mother loves to tell me the story about the day I was born. It was in the middle of the night, at the height of a snowstorm, when her water broke. My father was too busy watching the news to take her, so she was escorted to the hospital by a family friend. And as she was being wheeled into her room, she passed C. Finepaw in the waiting area. You might not recognize authors just by looking at them, but it was hard to miss C.E., sitting wearing an antler-crested Amazon fur headdress that made her famous. My mother tells me that C. was 60 years old at the time, but she looked much younger. She was sitting there with her knee bouncing up and down, glancing at her 50-year-old watch. I read that she lost it once, that when she rested her head on her forearms that night and heard nothing, it was like being in bed without the heartbeat of your soulmate for the last 50 years. Slouched in the waiting room chairs, a sleepy reporter and photographer were sitting on her right, and her wife was reading a book on her left side, her good side. Little known fact, if you ever happen to be on C.E.'s right side, she was ignoring you by letting her speak into your deaf ear. It was 2 a.m. in the middle of labor pains when my mother thought nothing of seeing the author. However, when they arrived at the room, a nurse stopped by and asked my mother, Miss Finepaw would me to ask you, if in the event that you were to give birth between the hours of 4 and 5 a.m., may she present your child with a profound gift? What is the gift, my mother asked. I really couldn't tell you, but it has to be a natural birth, as in no induced labors with cesareans. Epidurals are fine. She told the nurse that she'd be okay with a drug-free birth, having done it twice before. By the time I was born, it was 4:30. My mom was sure another child had come by then, and she was so hyped up on prostaglandins and endorphins, she really didn't care or have time to think about anything else but pushing this new creature through her vagina. They cleaned me up, and as she rested in bed, that's when she heard C. storming down the corridor. Where is she? It's practically 5 o'clock already. She burst into my mother's room, shaking a rain stick that she constructed from PVC pipe, toothpicks, and dried beans. She could have just purchased one from any of the reservations in the area, but I figured out later on that C. never paid for anything she could make herself. Besides, my mom said it was a really convincing rendition of a piece of wood. C. shot her finger across the room and singled out my mother. You! Wait, where's the baby? A nursing assistant handed the newborn meat to my mother. C. shook her stick and thundered again. You! Wait, what's the baby's name? Audrey, my mother replied cautiously. Really? I was hoping it'd be a hard C sound. Well, Audrey. You have chosen to come to the world on this day. You who are one of the last females to be born in the year of the fire tiger, in the month of the tiger, at the hour of the tiger. Your native South Jersey has selected you, or selected those among you, with the sleetest precipitation of the dangerous down of snow. I too came into the world this way, on the very same day, 60 years prior. I'm the last living fire tiger, inner tiger, secret tiger. I have risked breaking my old bones to pass on my gift and my burden to you. You alone will possess the charisma to sway all others to your fortune. You alone will be worthy of the people who will then follow you. For when the fire tiger speaks, others listen, and they do as they are told. But beware that by being the humanitarian that the stars destined you to be, you'll be inclined to care for others at the expense of yourself, and others will gladly take this from you. But you will never be a full woman until you have suffered for the pain of others with nothing but their ingratitude and contentment as your reward. Thanks, guys.
Another round.